Oh, let me tell you something. Busting makes me feel good.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Blockbusting, the podcast where we love to hate the movies. I'm your host, Jay Light. Joining me today, my friend, wonderful comedy guy, Justin Lain.
Thank you, Jay. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, man. Thanks for bringing this terrible, terrible movie to my attention.
It is. I think back in college, when I first heard this movie, I was looking forward to it because, again, I like two things, films that are outside the box and Shia LeBeouf.
And this film has both of them.
It had both of them. And I was a year later, a year later, I had finally watched it, and I was so completely let down by what I had transpired, how both the film had pretty much wasted away the plot.
Yep.
And wasted away the cast. It was in I think this film actually came out during the height of Shia's whole experimental phase.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It came out in what are we thinking?
2013.
This is 2013, yeah. And this, by the way, this film, Charlie Countryman, originally titled The Necessary Death of Charlie Countryman.
Exactly.
Guy doesn't even die.
Exactly. He doesn't that was the whole idea. The reason why I got intrigued by this film is because they said the approach they were doing, it would be like you playing a video game and watching a character repeatedly almost have many brushes with death. And I was excited by that because I'm like, oh, that's an intriguing premise going on there. And then I again watched it and I was like, oh, whoa, this is a very shitty video game.
It's the shittiest video game of all time. It's okay. Let's give the listeners a little bit of context for this movie. So this movie, Charlie Countryman, a 2013 American-Romanian romantic drama film starring Shia LeBeouf, Evan Rachel Wood, and Mads Mikkelsen. It basically follows our boy Shia LaBeouf as this dude named Charlie Countryman. Great name, great film name.
Exactly.
His mom dies.
Yeah.
This is how little I care about this movie, that I'm deliberately misreading the Wikipedia.
Yeah.
His mom dies. She says, when she's dead, her spirit says, you should go to Bucharest. Then he goes to Bucharest, and then he gets involved in some sort of weird criminal conspiracy enterprise.
It's a weird film. It doesn't really explain anything. His mom's spirit just appears to him, and it doesn't explain why her spirit appears to him, because it's supposed to be able to believe that his mom died years ago. Not recently, but I think died years ago.
Really?
I think so. I think it's supposed to be
Wait,
that.
Who dies at the beginning of the movie then?
Well, no, I think it is. Well, sorry. Well, no, they don't show his mom dying from what I remembered. I think they tell that she did die, but
it just happens. His spirit appears later on.
Yeah, I think so. I want to say yes. It's been a while since I've seen it too, but I just remember it's a memory. But yeah, she just tells him you need to go to boot. It doesn't even have any good reasons to why he needs to go there. She just tells him to go there.
Right. Yeah. She just says it seems like a good idea. You should do it.
And then I remember on a plane ride, it pretty much shows a romantic element how it comes to playing, how it comes into being for the film. He I guess he's on a plane ride and he's with some guy who he has a bond with.
Yeah, because he falls asleep on him.
Yeah.
And Shia LaBeouf is the chillest about a dude falling asleep on him.
Exactly.
That anyone would ever be. I was on my plane ride back here to LA. I almost had my seatmate fall asleep next to me on my shoulder, and I jerked away immediately. I was like, I don't want to deal with this.
And did he kind of look at you like, damn, bro?
No, it was a gal, and she just she flapped back up. I don't think she even realized what had happened.
That would be to say that would be like, damn, bro, I thought you were gonna be one of those type of guys.
I thought it could have been. I mean, I could have had my own Charlie Countryman moment with this Asian girl who fell asleep watching whatever variation of Jurassic Park she was watching on the in-flight entertainment system.
Exactly, and that's the main thing about it is okay, all of a sudden they're these these long lost buddies who've I haven't seen you in a while, man. I know. They act like they've known each other in a way, and then immediately the guy dies.
And
he's distraught about that too. But it's dude, you just met this guy 5 seconds ago. How did you all of a sudden you act like? I mean, yeah, it sucks that guy next to you died, but I'm not gonna. If I were in that situation, I would be like, oh shit, I wouldn't be fucking crying like he was in the film.
Right.
But I forgot how it happened. Through some transparency, he finds out that the guy tells him he had a daughter.
The guy said he has a daughter. Mm-hmm. The guy has a hat.
Mm-hmm.
that he has to give to the daughter.
Exactly.
It's a gift.
Exactly.
So Shia LaBeouf decides, well, this is going to be my journey for the movie now. And it's it's such a weird nonsense plot. And it's not only is it very, I mean, it's super basic, right? The movie, the actual like plot of the movie is solved within 20 minutes of the movie. Because he gives her the hat.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. It's weird too. They don't explain how this universe works, but he too sees the guy's spirit.
Yep.
And tells him to do. And I'm like, wait. So in this universe, are you telling me that the loved one or of someone spirit can appear to that someone and tell them to do a certain journey or something?
I don't know, man.
It's not really explained. Like I don't get like. So you're telling me that in this universe, like, if Charles Manson had died, then he could appear to one of his followers and tell them to kill more because he's a spirit. So that, like, again, like the logistics of what goes on in these universes is really not explained more. But I think I kind of realized I was watching a very bad film when it got to the hostel scenes.
Oh man, yeah. So this movie, they get to the hostel where it's Rupert Grint, aka Ron Weasley. And who's this other guy?
He's from the In-Betweeners, the UK version.
James Buckley.
Yeah.
From the In-Betweeners.
Yeah.
And he's just there. And he's also, wait a minute, hold on. Is Vincent D'Onofrio?
Yeah, he's
Shia the dad.
Yeah, he's Shia. Yeah,
okay, I just looked into this.
Yeah, because it's like, because it's like literally. Okay, so go back. Let's go rewind. So at the beginning of the film, like Vincent the Kingpin is and. I'm sorry, I have a horrible time.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Names,
I like it. I think let's just call him Kingpin.
Kingpin
for the rest of the
and
movie.
the guy from Full Metal
Kingpin
Jacket.
and the guy from Even Stevens.
Yeah, Even Stevens,
hanging
their father
out.
and son, and then Aubrey Plaza's in it as an old flame and stuff.
Yeah, she's total. This movie wastes all of its actors.
Oh yeah, it wastes like we have a cast of really good actors, and you somehow give them a screenplay that. Again, sounds like a really interesting concept on paper, but then you actually execute it, and you're seeing like, oh wow.
So let me ask you this, because I hadn't heard about this whole video game thing until you brought it up just now, and I can't even find any info about it on the way. Like they're not talking about it in any interviews that I'm seeing. Yeah. So when you heard that this movie was going to be like a video game where there's near brushes with death, which does happen a lot in this movie, he does have a lot of near brushes with death, especially the hands of the crazed killer Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh yeah, the guy was fucking.
That guy is scary. He does a great. But he's like base level scary. Like he's not even turning it on full.
It's like charming scary. Like, but here it's like usually he's charming scary, but here it's like he loses the charm because I think he was recognizing, oh, I'm in a shitty film right now.
Yeah, he knows he's in a shitty movie,
and it's like fuck this, man. I'm a fucking talented actor, man.
This movie features Ron Weasley with a gigantic foot-long boner that you can see through his pants.
Oh yeah, no, get that. Okay, during the
By the way, just to not to gloss over too much.
That's why. Okay, get this too. Apparently, okay, so I know we're like going everywhere, but
I mean, this movie goes everywhere, so I feel like we're allowed to.
We got it. But okay, so when he gets to the hostel, he strikes up a friendship with the hostel manager.
Yep.
And with Ron Weasley and James Buckley, and they're all become buds. And then the hostel manager does this weird thing where he's like, "Hey man, you can have anything in this hostel."
Yep.
And he's like, anything. And so that obviously leads to drugs.
Oh yeah, they do drugs.
Yeah, and so they do this very weird slow-mo, like 5 minute. I want to say it takes 5 minutes. 5 minutes out scene of everyone. It's like this kind of like half-ass orgy.
It's very
craze.
half-assed.
Yeah, it's like horrible. It's like horribly half-ass orgy. And I'm like, and I remember reading it where Shia LeBeouf said that, oh yeah, he was actually on acid. Yeah. During the whole thing. I think he said it was his first time doing acid.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that sucks for you, man. That's like your first time doing acid for this.
You do
film.
acid to be in a bad movie? Come on, dude.
Exactly.
Shia LaBeouf doesn't seem like that was the first time he's ever done acid, by the way. I feel like he did acid years ago.
Right. But he was just saying that to sound like.
Saying it to sound like normal for Hollywood. No. I don't know why you got to do that, man. Shia LaBeouf, we already know, is a weirdo at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
There's no reason for you to try and be oh man, I'm just doing acid for the first time. You don't need to hide that from us, man.
Exactly. Because I think this is the same time that Nymphomaniac
I think
came out. Like this is like him, like pretty much him leaving. Because I remember this is at the point of his career where he had an option to be this very artsy style actor or be this like leading man blockbuster style guy. And I think this is like literally him deciding, fuck the blockbuster system. I'm gonna do these.
He did.
Indie art
This is the arc that he goes through at this point in his career. So he's already done Disturbia and the Transformers franchise and Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Then he does Wall Street. He does Lawless, which is the Nick Cave movie, and then this and Nymphomaniac come out the same year. It's a very obvious, like, oh man, I'm starting to break away. And then he started doing the then he starts going on these weird like art things where he does hashtag I am sorry.
Oh yeah, I
hashtag all my movies. I am not famous anymore.
Oh, the whole paper bag thing where he puts everything. Yeah, I remember that one.
It's real. He does a real weird. I don't understand what exactly he's trying to do, man.
Oh, I think he was trying to do a James Franco in a way, but not. I mean, with James Franco, it's half unrealized, but at least with James Franco, it's like he's James Franco. I mean, he's done this for a long time, so it kind of can work. Whereas Shia LeBeouf just randomly decided to do this one day, and so it's like no one can really make sense of it.
What do you think it is about child stars that makes them feel like they have to take such a hard break? Because I feel like it's not. You either go kind of one or two ways when you get famous young, and then you age into it. Is you sort of you evolve as an artist and grow up, so to say, or you take a complete turn and go batshit crazy. Like I feel like Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears, they were young artists who became popular when they were young. They evolved and became adult versions of those artists.
Oh yeah,
they became adult pop stars.
Hardcore.
Shia LaBeouf and James Franco both went, hey, let's do normal television for a little bit. Hey, we're gonna do the complete fucking opposite thing.
Exactly.
And scare off our fan base.
Exactly.
Why do you think they did? Why do you think they do that?
I was gonna say I think the mouse got them by the ears, but I think it's just I think they're bored. I mean, you make a lot of money now. They make a lot of money from what they did, like even Steven's money, that Transformers money, all that that Indiana Jones money, that Disturbia money. Now you get like when we have that much money, you get bored, and you're like, what can I do that's I can't really make a lot of money from, but at least I can have fun.
I wonder how much money they're putting into these projects themselves.
Not a lot.
Because I did hear about. Did you hear about Shia LaBeouf's new movie that was at Sundance this year?
Yeah, he wrote the Honey Boy.
Yeah, Honey Boy.
Yeah, he wrote the screenplay,
and it seems like it was a great movie. It got very well. It got well received. I think it won at least one award. I know it won some sort of one of the breakthrough like special jury prize awards. It might have won screenplay award, but it seems like it's the most normal thing that Shia LaBeouf has done in years.
Oh yeah, no, hardcore. I think he like took a break, and that's what it was. Hey, he took a break because this is like kind of like the last movie he kind of made.
Yeah, for a little
while, and then now he's like coming back in full force, and like he's like got his idea who he is as an artist in a way.
That's the thing. It's like I think. What do you think Shia LaBeouf is a good actor? I think that's the real question at the heart of this movie and this episode of the podcast. Is Shia LaBeouf good?
Yes, I'm going to argue and say yes, he is good. Like watching his roles, like even Stevens, even before Stevens, when he would do like little guest spots, like on Freaks and Geeks or something like that, you're still captivated by the characters he was doing.
Right.
Even in Transformers, even Disturbia. I remember, rewatched it because I was like 15 years old when I watched it. I remember I was like, oh shit, like Shia LaBeouf's cool. Like he can act and like everything. And I think when he's like given the right script or if he's like directed wisely, then he can show the acting chops.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think that Shia LaBeouf is gonna win an Oscar someday.
Oh yeah,
he's got this kind of thing where I was watching this movie and I hated so much of it, and I thought it was so slow.
Oh, it was,
and so just like the plot is so ridiculous and doesn't make like none of the choices that the characters are making do not make sense, to the point where even at the end of the movie when they're constantly asking him, hey, did you mean to go to Budapest? And then his mom is like, yeah, I should have told you to go to Budapest. That's what I was thinking. And it's like that weird winking at the audience thing. But it feels like that's a decision that was tacked on once they were like, oh shit, we made this almost the entire movie and we don't know what to do, how to end this
you don't
thing.
know what the film was about or anything. Like, what was the idea? What was the basic thing going on exactly in this film? Because it was like all over the place. It felt like it wanted to be romantic. It felt like it wanted to be a gangster film. It felt like it wanted to be a coming of age film. Like
it's a weird like romantic comedy. It's got comedy elements. It's it's like 500 Days of Bummer. Like you're following a manic pixie dream girl,
or the anti-manic pixie dream girl.
Well, that's the thing. I have such a hard time trying to understand what this director and writers were thinking as far as like what makes sense about these characters and what makes sense about putting them in this situation in Bucharest.
Right. Let me on the Wikipedia page.
Please talk. Let's talk about the Wikipedia page.
Okay, so I'm already in the production side. Apparently, in early development, LeBeouf had dropped out actually, and then the title was briefly given to Zac Efron.
And they brought him back.
Yeah, and then I guess LeBeouf returned to the project in August 2010, and and apparently remember her talking about the whole acid.
Right, the acid trip.
Yeah, apparently, according to LeBeouf, he had to trip on acid to really get into the head of his character to emulate some of his acting heroes. Quote, there's a way to do acid trip like Harold and Kumar, and there's a way to do it on acid, to be on acid. What I know of acting, Sean Penn actually strapped up to an electric chair and Dead Man Walking. These are the guys I look up to. Quote. So I guess he was maybe he was aiming for his Oscar. Maybe he.
You think this is just trying to be his Oscar movie?
Maybe he referenced Sean Penn and Dead Man Walking. I think he got nominated for an Oscar for that role, and he also maybe not an Oscar. Maybe what he was trying to be like the everyman on film. Because I will say that Charlie Countryman, he does try to appear to be like the everyman style role. In this film.
Yeah, they should have just called him Charlie Everyman.
Everyman, because it's close countryman, everyman. Like he's a man who he's down on his luck. He's depressed.
He's super depressed. His mom died an indeterminate amount of time ago.
His girlfriend's broken up with him, moved on.
Right. He falls in love with a woman immediately, as you do.
Yes, you do. Finds out that, her ex-boyfriend, husband,
sort of,
whatever it is a gangster, which obviously always happens in every case where you fall in love with someone. And so again, he's like an everyman. Constant fuck shit happens to him,
right?
And he doesn't know how to respond to it, and he's just like, well, I guess I still had to go find this girl, and which leads me to the whole Matt Mikkelsen thing. Like, I'm trying to figure out exactly what he's obviously. Okay, he's a gangster.
Yeah, he's some sort of a gangster.
And it's kind of, I'm not clear. I'm trying to understand, like, okay, that was her husband. They were married at one point, but it seemed like they weren't together anymore. But yeah, he's so obsessed with her. Is that?
That's part of it is I don't like. Okay, there's a certain degree of, as a filmmaker, I think your objective is if you're trying to make a really, really good, especially like an art house movie like this, your goal is very much to show and not tell and allow the viewer to sort of experience it and figure it out. But you have to leave enough information for the audience to connect the dots of what's happening. That's the real problem with this is you don't. The guys who made this movie, there's no way to connect the dots. The dots are in completely different parts of the page, and there's walls and books and all the shit between them, and you can't figure out what the links are supposed to be.
Exactly.
Like here's one of the things that really bumped on me is. Remember when they go to the strip club to try and cure Ron Weasley's giant boner? Yeah. And they go to the strip club and then they get pulled into the back because I guess you're not supposed to come in a strip club. Yeah. I've never known that before.
I didn't know that was a rule either.
I didn't know there was a rule. I've been to some strip clubs. I've never come in a strip club just for like the sake of
sanity.
Yeah. Like I need everybody to know I've never come in a strip club, but I didn't know that there was like an extra rule against that.
Oh yeah, obviously.
And so they take him to the back. and they're having this the classic like back of the strip club, we're gonna break your kneecaps conversation, right? And then all of a sudden you see he's got pictures of Mads Mikkelsen and our Manic Pixie Dream Girl hanging on the wall, and this guy's like, "Oh, do you know this guy? Tell me what you know about this guy." And I can't tell if they're supposed to be friends or enemies at that point.
Right.
Because why do you have pictures of them hanging out and being like best buds if you're also like, I kind of want to kill this man?
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, well, yeah, it's like, why would, it's like a kind of like that scene. It kind of reminded me of that photo or this joke photo of George W. Bush turning to Osama bin Laden and vice versa. And it's like, wait, so it's like, wait, are they like, are you trying to tell me they're the same person or anything? Like that scenario, but in this scenario, it's like, wait, usually, I guess, does this guy have a photo of Mads Mikkelsen so he can remind him how much he hates him and how much he wants the life that he has? And so I guess that's like a weird form of what's the word I'm looking for? A form of not doing better for yourself, but it's like a certain word.
It's like a vision board.
Vision board, yes.
Yeah,
like
where he's trying
board.
to manifest having Mads Mikkelsen's life.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make any sense because then there's this whole thing with the tape of Mads Mikkelsen killing people, which why do they need this tape if they already know he's a violent gangster
Sociopath.
murderer?
And it's like, and he's like, everyone knows about him in like Bucharest, where this film takes place. Like everyone literally knows about him, and it doesn't make any sense. Like I think I lost myself halfway through the film when that happened. I was just like, understand like what's this? What is going on here exactly? Like that, and the scene with Ron Weasley and the In-Betweeners actor, they have they glue.
Yeah, they get glued together.
Yeah, I just remember seeing. I was like, what?
Also, so they get glued together, and the strip club guy, Darko, is his name. By the way, classic, great Eastern European villain name. Darko is a fantastic name, and that's one of my only shining points of this movie.
You think it's also a film reference to Donnie Darko?
It could be.
Like somehow,
given how this movie is trying to be like weird and ethereal the way that Donnie Darko was.
I mean, it is because an idea plays with idea, I guess, of you having so many close encounters with death. The fact that matter that you are time, and this idea, I feel like they're saying like time is also an illusion in this film,
right?
And also the fact of the matter is that he sees spirits or some sort of visions of some sort. So
maybe. I mean, and I haven't seen Donnie Darko in a while, but have you seen it recently?
I saw someone do a review of it recently.
Okay,
and it I showed all the famous clips and all the famous stuff in there.
Do you remember if at the beginning of Donnie Darko, if they do something that involves like a time loop or a scene from the end of the movie? It's because they have the jet thing happen, right? That's all the bigger. That's at the very beginning, and then it comes back around.
Yeah.
But and this movie starts off with shots of the bridge and of Shia LaBeouf hanging upside down on the bridge.
Yeah.
And he's falling, and I'm like, oh, this is okay. This is you're doing the right. You're starting off on the right foot by like showing us the action.
Exactly.
But then all of a sudden, it just gets boring and weird.
Exactly, and
it loses all of its credibility.
No, exactly. Like it really did mind boggle me about that, like the beginning scene where he's like, they let go of him on the bridge,
right?
And I was again, like, the whole video game aspect comes into it because I was like, oh, okay, I see what they're gonna do now. It's gonna be like a rewind, like start over at like player one.
Very much scenario. Like you're probably wondering how I got into this situation.
Yeah, exactly. Like a record scratch. And I was like, okay, I'm game for this. But yeah, and I think another thing about this film, it looks ugly.
It does.
It looks like ugly. Like all the scenes are like this disgusting. The best way to describe the color palette of this film is like brown moist you find in the bathroom when it hasn't been cleaned up.
Yeah, it's very moldy looking.
Moldy, and you're like looking at it and trying to see through it, but you just can't. And that's what the look of the film is to me. And it's just
it's not a good. It's a movie that's like I could see exactly what they were trying to do to some degree, but they just are so far from executing it. Like they wanted to make a cool art house movie that involved him being sort of crossing over into this gangster world,
right?
And falling in love with the gangster's girl and winning her at the end, which is objectively what happens in the movie. You can describe that as like that's the plot of the movie, but the way he gets into it doesn't make sense. Like if you're going to do that, the movie has to. I feel like it's got to lean more into the slapstick comedy element of it.
Yeah, and there was some there was that train scene where he's like running from both the henchmen of the gangster, and he does a little funny dance when the door gets closed on them.
Yep.
In a way, and I thought, okay, that was like an endearing moment right there. That was a moment that I could have stood by.
But it's also you need more stuff like that. It's trying to do too much.
Yeah, it really was, and like. I was trying to understand more. What else? I guess another thing too I was trying to figure out about this film was I just feel it was a big fuck you to anyone that watches it.
I think about that all the time when I watch movies for this show.
Yeah, because I remember okay, so I know we've again gone all over the place of what this film is. We really can't describe it to you.
But this film's all over the place.
Yeah, it's
if you
all over
watch
the place.
it, God forbid you watch this movie.
Yeah,
by the
don't
way.
watch it. Really,
don't watch it. But if you decide to, you'll understand what we're talking about how fucking bananas and off the and totally point A to point Z this movie is.
Yeah, I think it was towards the end of the film that Mads Mikkelsen all of a sudden has a change of heart.
Yeah, maybe.
And it's the drop, it's I don't know how all of a sudden he had a change of heart, in that second, but he immediately returns a fake gun or points his finger at the cop.
Oh yeah,
and gets shot immediately.
His best improv 101 style.
It was boom, and I was like, wait, what? No, No, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you tell me the sociopathic gangster that glued his two friends together, that pretty much drew him over a bridge, that punched him, beats him, kicks him, at the last moment sees how his ex-girlfriend, who his ex-wife that he's been obsessing over for the whole duration of the film, he sees that she clearly loves this guy, and all of a sudden he has a change of heart and decides the best way to do it was to sacrifice himself, getting killed by a cop. And it didn't make, at that point, I just pretty much said, fuck this movie.
Oh man, that's a real late point to say fuck this movie too. Mm-hmm. What do you think you were hoping for by the end? Because it seems like you held out hope for a really long time for something to be different about this movie.
I don't know. I guess I have this critique thing about if I'm watching a bad movie, I just had to suffer through it because I feel like my time's already been wasted, and I just feel like if I somehow end the movie halfway through, I feel like I've let the movie win, and it's like this weird ego trip where I'm like, no, I can't let you win, you inanimate object or anything. And so I feel like I had to somehow beat it at its own game by continuing to watch it, but yet somehow I still lost because I still gave it my time and energy. So I'm like this weird.
Yeah, you wasted an hour and a half of your life watching this terrible movie.
Oh, man, it was so depressing too about it. Was the fact the matter I was waiting for this movie, then I saw it got bad reviews, but usually I'm the type of person it's if it's getting bad reviews, that means I might end up liking it. Because most films I love getting bad reviews. There's Freddy Got Fingered, which I will argue deserves the Criterion Collection treatment.
Oh, really?
Yes, I know. I argue that Tom Green was the late 90s, early 2000s Buster Keaton.
Yeah?
I will argue that to the death. I will write so many essays on why I think that he literally was. The fact of the matter is this. Well, okay, I never go off the topic, but we're going to talk about a film that actually deserves love. Okay, so Freddy Got Fingered. Okay, so basically, you look at the production history of it. I think he was given a $7 million budget. He was given final cuts.
Okay. And he directed it too, right?
He wrote the script. The only reason the studio did that is because his popularity at the time. He was got to be married to Drew Barrymore.
Right.
He had a hit MTV show.
Right.
He was in Road Trip. He was just, and people ate that shit up. And I know people, when it first came out, people were just what the fuck is this shit? But I guarantee you that if you view it in a different lens, that film will get a lot of praise. If it was essentially about a young man having a nervous breakdown because he realizes that he realizes the perils it means to enter the entertainment business and how he comes from middle America where all things are seen as simple and hopeful, and how he recognizes that it's that's just a facade.
Oh boy.
And so I guarantee you that that film, that's a film you guys, someone listen should actually watch. Not Charlie Countryman.
This is the deepest interpretation I've ever heard anybody throw at Freddy Got Fingered.
Freddy Got Fingered is a film. It's a funny film. It's funny. It's he utilizes Rip Torn. Right. He lets Rip Torn be Rip Torn.
I mean, that's a good call right there. I love Rip Torn.
I love Rip Torn. Rip Torn is a great character actor who has have you seen his video where he's drunk and he's in police custody?
No, never.
No kidding. I kind of had a weird idea when Philip Seymour Hoffman was alive.
Yeah.
If someone would make a one-act play of Philip Seymour Hoffman playing Rip Torn inside a police station and drunk, like watch his just go on YouTube, watch Rip Torn's like in the police headquarters drunk.
You're gonna have to look that up.
And it seems like he's like acting, like he's giving one of his finest acting roles where he's like yelling and screaming, he's like saying like theater like words basically, and it's like very captivating to watch. But yeah, but going back to that, Freddy Got Fingered. But going back to that, normally I like films like Freddy Got Fingered, Death to Smoochie.
Okay,
actually,
Death to Smoochie is a solid movie.
I actually enjoy Death to Smoochie.
Mm-hmm.
Like I enjoy films that have this weird reception around them. So I was thinking like going into like Charlie Countryman. I was like, okay, I probably will enjoy it.
Right.
At the end of the day, I'll enjoy something like that's out there, that's interesting, that's might be hopefully fun. But nah, man, it was polar opposite of it. It was.
Well, you know what I think the difference there is that Charlie Countryman is a movie. There's some movies that can like try and be an art house movie and do a good job, and there's some movies that can't pull the wool over even anyone's eyes.
Oh no.
Comedies are judged on a different scale, which is so weird because comedies don't need to be looked at from the art house perspective. Like Death to Smoochie and Freddy Got Fingered, and I say this as someone who's never seen Freddy Got Fingered, they get critically panned because they don't have appeal in a critical way.
Exactly.
Like people look at that and they don't think of it as like, oh yeah, this is totally this is going to be a classic someday, because they look at it and they're like, what the fuck is this? This is garbage. This is like lowest common denominator shit. Like Death to Smoochie is jokes about penis cookies, right? And it's not, people aren't seeing it and being like, oh, this is a really solid satire of the entertainment industry. Because they also are looking at it, and critics look at this as like people who also want to be in the entertainment industry. And of course it's not going to go out that way.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. Like, I kid you not, I think if these films were released today, critics would eat them up hardcore. Particularly Freddy Got Fingered, they would eat them. Because you see, like, if you take the plot of Freddy Got Fingered about, a young man having a nervous breakdown as he tries to grapple with the facade of his Midwestern values and the entertainment industry and put it with, like, some Duplass Brothers type shit, people would be praising the fuck out of it and be like, wow, this is so amazing. This is so exhilarating. But because it comes from a certain, like Tom Green, it's like, God no, why would I watch that or anything? It's like, oh wow. So it's like it shows the facade of it all, and that's a beautiful thing. But Charlie Countryman does not show the facade of it all.
Charlie Countryman is trying.
Oh, it's trying hardcore, and I think the biggest issue out of Charlie Countryman that I think I still have to this day is that it really had no point to exist at all. Like I actually looked it up right now. I didn't realize that. I was like on a drive here. I thought more about it, and I was like, oh wait, a movie or any form of entertainment. I'm not going to use the term art for this because this shit ain't art.
This is not art.
But any form of entertainment, even bad entertainment, still has like a reason why it exists. Like something like Spike TV. Nowadays, Spike TV is seen as like the most toxic masculinity, very like Hulk style. All men are essentially saying all men are stupid, pretty much. Like men
it's like TV for bros.
Yeah, bros. Like, but it knows that
the broest common denominator.
But it accepts the fact that Spike TV knows that it's that. It knows that it has a reason to exist because it knows that we're dumb, we're stupid, but there are people out there who are like that, who like the shit we put up, and so they know the reason why they exist. But here, Charlie Countryman, on the other hand, is something that's like has no reason to exist. It has really no reason why it's saying like, oh, why I should exist as a film. It has no reason whatsoever. And let me find this article real quick because I found a review of it. Someone pretty much said the same thing that I said.
Hit me with it.
Where is it?
Find this review. I want to see what people, because I saw I got a 29.
All right. Yeah, like Variety has it. It said, according to John Anderson, Variety, he called it a profoundly unnecessary film that really has no reason to exist, has no depth whatsoever, and also has strained attempts at magic realism, will leave viewers more irritated than enchanted.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like towards the end of the movie, because I had a Tumblr post, and I had a Tumblr, back then, and one of the things I like to do is screenshot movies I was watching and just put it down there. For this one, you could do, and also then we could do via like post a photo. You can write like a comment under it,
right? Yeah, I was a Tumblr kid.
Yeah,
I'm familiar.
Yeah. And so what I did with Charlie Countryman, I literally just said, "Fuck this movie, fuck this movie, fuck this movie, fuck this movie, fuck this movie." Like for like 20 photos, I just really said that, and I just said like, Charlie Countryman reminds me of what happened. Like it's like reminds me the idea of what happens when you wank inside a sock.
Yeah,
and you just like put it on a table and you just film it for 2 hours of a sock just having like cum inside it and nothing. That's it, and that's what it was to me. It felt like that. I was just like, damn it. This is like it was just
Charlie Countryman, you terrible crusty cum sock of a movie.
Exactly.
Well, I hope that. And this filmmaker has not made a movie since then, and I hope he doesn't get the money to make another one again.
I remember I looked him up, and he's like a commercial director.
Jesus Christ. Let's not give this guy any more
and there's something wrong with commercial directors. It's just that there's some that don't have the imagination to do
yeah, because some creative, like Spike Jonze and Michel Gondry were both creative directors.
Chris Cunningham too. Like
all these guys are great, and what's that guy? Anton Corbin. Yes, Corbin. Yeah. Great. Oh
yes, right. Yeah,
great stylistic directors who have a good, clear vision.
Oh yeah.
I can't imagine what this guy's commercials would be like. This doesn't seem like you got no fucking vision, dude.
Exactly.
You just want to put Shia LaBeouf in a movie and have it be like, and have it be a jumble, a genre mishmash, and it makes no sense.
Exactly.
You know what? I need to watch Freddy Got Fingered now based on your high praise.
Man. Like, go on Wikipedia. There's like a legacy of Freddy Got Fingered section. Read Roger Ebert's review. He immediately dismisses Freddy Got Fingered, but he likes a follow-up review to his review.
Yeah.
Where he talks about how he just kept noticing he would bring Freddy Got, even though he hated the film, he said he kept noticing that he would bring Freddy Got Fingered in conversation with people. And he was just like wondering, why am I doing this? Why am I, talking about this film? And then he said he still thought it was a bad film, but he recognized, the attempts that were made, and he understood the path that was placed upon this film, and he kind of respected because of that reason. He still said, "Oh no, I still think it's a bad film, but I respect it now more because I recognize what was going on."
Well, I can't wait to check that out, and I will say this: Charlie Countryman is a bad movie that I will not respect, and no one should ever respect. Yeah. And I'm glad that you brought it to my attention. I think it has made us stronger as friends to hate this movie.
I'm glad it has, man.
But I can't believe you watched this of your own volition, dude. That's crazy.
I know. It was Shia LaBeouf, and I was like this. I went to art school, and I was like, "Ooh, this should be my forte." And I was like, "No, it wasn't."
I've been there. I went to film school. I know that life.
It wasn't.
Where can the listeners find you? You know you're a regular performer at the Pack. You've got a wonderful show there called Blackverse.
Blackverse, yes. It happens every second Thursday of every month at 9 p.m. Find me on Facebook and Justin Lain, or you can find me at The Real Justin True on Instagram. You also can follow Blackverse at Blackverse Show on Instagram, or Blackverse Comedy Show on Facebook.
Nice. If you find me on the internet, you're going to be looking for at Diet J on Twitter, Instagram. I haven't even brought this up on the show before, but I do have a profile on this website called Letterboxd, which is a film website. It's fun. Justin and I both have accounts on there. You basically just follow people who post about the movies that they watch, and we review movies. And I post all my episodes from Blockbusting on there. I post about what other movies I'm watching. It's a fun community. If you have a Letterboxd account and you listen to this, add me, and I'll add you back, and we can talk film. And if you want to share your opinions about Charlie Countryman or Freddy Got Fingered or whatever, just you know where to find us. Leave a comment. Hit us up on Twitter or Instagram, and if you like the show, leave a review on iTunes, and leave a rating and tell a friend, because it's nice to have some people listening to the show. And at the end of the day, don't watch Charlie Countryman. You're not missing anything.
You're not. Go watch Freddy Got Fingered and write into Criterion that that movie deserves a Criterion approval.
You know what? Let's make that happen.
Exactly.
I'm going to watch Freddy Got Fingered, and I'm going to hopefully agree with Justin on this point, and then we can get some sort of a hashtag campaign going.
Exactly.
Let's make it happen. Guys, this has been Blockbusting. Go see something good for a change.